Good morning, folks. Welcome. It's 5:40 Eastern Time here on May the 8th, and super early morning recording. Not long out of bed, and so much has happened in the past few days, and we have a lot to highlight really quickly, just so you know the latest and greatest of what's going on in the marketplace. So we're going to keep this short and sweet, and please, if you can, drop me a subscription and let me know if you enjoy. So yeah, we're back into greed. So as you can see, it's 57. We were in fear and extreme fear for quite a while, and then now we're finally getting back into the greed and risk on in environment here. Be aware of that because people are getting quite greedy. If you go across and look at all of our favorite stocks and favorite stonks, they're beginning to get up into the higher territories now again. So it's risk on. People are retail's piling in. Institutions will probably pile in soon. They haven't been as quick to buy this big dip. It's quite the opposite, more of a retail buy the dip opportunity. So yeah, we're in greed territory. Super important to note is Federal Jerome Powell, a chair of the reserve, yesterday decided to keep fund rates at 4.25 and 4.55% for the third meeting since May of 2025. So we weren't really expecting to see a rate cut yesterday. It would have been nice, would have been a great surprise for the market. Market would have loved that to finally see Jerome Powell being pro retail, is what I'm going to say. But instead, they decided to be quite defensive and not change their rates. So now the street is looking over here to possibilities of future rate cuts. And this first time I saw this took me quite a while to get my head around how this whole thing is laid out and how it works. So this is current. Not a lot of enough YouTubers explain these things in detail. So this is our current rate. Um, the next meeting is June 18th. So in literally what's that? Almost 30 days or more. Again, been up pretty early this morning. But we have a 79, basically an 80% chance that they stay where they are in June. So we only have a 20% chance that we'll see a drop to of 25 basis points. So again, 20% chance that we see that decrease. So really, the street now is looking at July the 30th. We have a 54% chance that we'll see a drop, which would be exciting. But all these things need to be taken day by day, week by week. This could always change, right? Because June was a lot higher, and it's of course been reset lower because Jerome Powell yesterday was saying they're not going to be interested in making any cuts. So yeah, we see one here. We may see another one, possibly in September, October. These numbers are pretty high. My expectation is two rate cuts this year, but he's he's going to be late. The Fed is happy to be late as they let Trump's tariff war play out pretty aggressively. And it's always worth looking back to see where we were. This is the awesome 0% that a lot of us benefited from. I refinanced my first home at 2.9%, which is nice. I would love to see this dip down further so I can refinance my newer home. And this, of course, was a lovely opportunity here as well. But yeah, not as bad as when I was born, 1990, in a recession, of course, which is funny. And then you have 8%. But look at this, 13, 15. Hopefully we never see that again. But just be aware of where we have come from. And then can close that one. Major headlines today. Sorry, it's sometimes likes to refresh on me. We'll go over here first. I was looking at this morning, the M2 money supply for the Federal Reserve, and this is really worth, I think, just notating real quick. We have the Federal Reserve February of 20, COVID hit 19. I mean, I would probably want to say here is a pretty significant increase. To maybe like there. So you had a 49% increase of the Federal Reserve's M2 money supply over the period of 1,065 days. So about 3 years, 4 years, more like three, I would say, 2019, 22, yeah, 3 years. That is a shocking increase of the Federal Reserve money supply. And then we went flat here. See that? It actually went down, which is interesting. And now we're at the point now where it's like, what's the next move? Because we've always had a history of increase. If you go back as far as you want, it's always been up. There's not really a dip, so to speak, except for this dip right here. So I think a lot of folks are beginning to say that they're going to see another parabolic increase of federal money supply, of printing fiat currency. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very game on scenario. Like, what is going to happen these next 3 to 4 to 5 years, all the way to like 2030? Are we going to see another massive increase of liquidity, which is going to just flood the market, send assets higher, potentially send stocks and commodities higher too? I personally think we're about to see a huge upcrease. I think I don't see why it wouldn't happen. It's historically been a pattern, and with all that's happening in the world, I think it makes sense to see some sort of like upcrease to maybe 25 trillion. I mean, it's whatever. Take your bet, right? And that, of course, will affect Bitcoin quite a bit. Let me refresh this chart. So super exciting news. Bitcoin is now knocking again on the $100,000 mark, which is pretty exciting. And everyone's, I think, getting pretty excited about this one. We can put on 100K right here. It's pretty rudimentary drawing, but you can see that's where we are right there. And we'll cross 100K again for like the 10th time, which is funny. But how much higher is Bitcoin going to go given the fact that we might see huge risk on and money printing hitting the marketplace? So it's going to be exciting one for sure. Maybe I'll use my arrow. It's a bit better. And we're entering into the summer season whenever Bitcoin typically performs the best. My personal belief is we're going to see Bitcoin. I think it's going to top out somewhere here, and yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Going to keep an eye on that one. We're going to cover the VIX next. It's important to know where we are with volatility. Did see a pretty huge spike, of course, during that April tariff war, and now we are down into the 20s. You want to see volatility usually under 19. This kind of mark typically reads that we're more or less safe. I think it's 19 if I remember. This is what you want to see, somewhere around these metrics. So we're getting back down to where people historically believe we're secure, we're safe. It's, buying season. Hedge funds and investors and planners like to buy. So just keep an eye on that. We're coming down. It could spike up, of course. We only have how many days left for tariff pauses? 63 days left for the reciprocal tariff pauses, which brings me to my next news is Trump officially announced that there's not going to be, there's going to be a huge update today. I believe at like 10 a.m. it was. I think it's best to go to the Trump news one, not his official Twitter. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. So 10 a.m. today Eastern time. We have pretty huge news. Trump is talking about major trade deal with reps of a big and highly respected country, the first of many. So my thought is this is going to be either the UK, Canada, or Canada. I'm sorry, Canada, possibly India, but we'll see. So that's huge news. The markets have taken this pretty well in the pre-market. That's why we're seeing such a huge surge. I probably should have started with that, but that's why we're seeing this huge pre-market increase. Everyone's pretty optimistic as to where Trump is going. Quick look at the Mag 7 real fast. Meta is up 2%. The pre-market. Microsoft up 1%. Tesla up 2%, which is great. Apple up a little bit, 1.3%. We should say Apple and Google having that huge search browser issue going on, of course. So it's kind of fun to see. Google dropped significantly down to the 150s. Amazon is holding well, 190 up 2%, and then NVDA up 2%. Big news for NVIDIA. Trump's administration might repeal the Biden bill that limited AI ability. That's going to be exciting to see. And then, of course, quickly, let's just check out our favorites, of course. MSTR is doing really well. Pre-market up 413, might take some profits today. Palantir, got a small position in Palantir. Still up exponentially high, parabolically high. Make sure the kids are still sleeping, we're good. And may trim some profits there. I still think the valuation is insane. It should be somewhere here, I think. A healthy range is in the 60s and the 70s. I don't think we're seeing health. I think we're seeing crazy levels of just greed, best way to put it. AMD up well. HIMS has gone on another tear, and 50, because there's a huge short interest in HIMS, so be aware of that. It's getting squeezed pretty hard, but it had a fantastic increase here this past few days. I mean, look at that. May 25th to May 25th, one day. That doesn't feel right. It's too early for me. There we go. Let's go to the 1 month chart real quick. So yeah, it shot up because of that Noro partnership perhaps for drugs. So yeah, HIMS is on an absolute tear. May take some profits there. And then Hood, our beloved Hood, is consolidating nicely in this range of I would say the 30s, high 30s to like 40, high 40 range. So maybe a little bit extended now, but HIMS is a fantastic company. Huge fan of what they do. I think they're going to be one of the biggest brokers, if not money managers, assets for most folks, retail especially. Pretty excited about that. And then finally, we'll look at SOFI pre-market up 1337, and finally getting a little bit more love. We want to see this get back up to this range, 16 to 20, ideally over 20, but man, SoFi just needs to pour some gas on the fire, right? So that's really it. We're looking pretty green, pretty healthy, some good news, some good sentiment. Markets are greedy, risk is on. Trump is spinning his wheels and he's calling for, as you can see, trades and announcements. Things are looking pretty good. Dan Ives releasing his AI revolutionary theme. Some really good companies in here to keep an eye on. I'm a holder of a few of them. Would like to buy some more of them. What caught my eye was, there's one in particular caught my eye that I want to look into more. What was a few of them? C3 AI was one. So yeah, there's some good stuff happening there with that. And Palantir huge profits, of course. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Lots of cool things happening. It's going to be a fun week, fun day. And we're excited to see what this news will come at 10 o'clock. Peace. Thank you. Bye.